under the military management during World War II. Now, do you understand what President Eisenhower was trying to tell us? Now, he couldn't come out and say, hey, these are the people doing it and why, but he had enough conscience to say, listen up, here's what it is. Most people didn't catch it, I'm sure. What's he talking about? Well, here is what his warning is about now, okay? Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of technical background on what this technology is and how it operates, okay? This is from the website www.raven1.net. There's a frequency modulator, and it happens. It can happen through television programming, radio waves, a number of different medium. Okay, a steady tone near the high end of the hearing rate, say it's 15,000 hertz. Okay, in this steady tone, there is a programmer, or what we call hypnotist voice, that varies, and so the microphone modulates into this. The output is now more or less steady tone, and it sounds almost like tinnitus or a little buzzing in the ear. You can't really audibly hear it, but it's talking to your neurons in your brain. It's telling you what to think and how to operate. Very, very subtle and very, very devious. This can be via the air or via radio/TV. This, again, was the documentation of this was done back in the year 2000, March 21st. The bad news is, it was bad enough then. It's 100 times more powerful today with the new digital signals, with the technology of the nanotechnology, which I'm going to discuss in depth too. Okay. So has this weaponry actually been used in combat? Is it effective? The answer is most definitely yes. Things that you've probably never heard of before, but check it out. Again, March 23rd, 1991. Remember that? We were in Gulf War I, right? Operation Desert Storm. There was a news brief that came over. This was picked up by the United Kingdom news services, but not a mention of it here in America. Not a word. Quote, this is the actual news brief. Quote, high-tech, carry-coded, encoded commands, which were broadcast on psychological warfare, arrives in the Middle East, is the headline. Describes a U.S. psychological operations, or PSYOPs, tactic directed against Iraqi troops in Kuwait during Operation Desert Storm. The maneuver consisted of a system in which a subliminal mind-altering technology was carried on standard radio frequency broadcasts. Okay? The March 26, 1991 news brief, 3 days after the first story comes out, stated that amongst the standard military planning groups in the center of the war planning operations at Riyadh was, quote, an unbelievable and highly classified PSYOPs program utilizing, get this, silent sound techniques. The opportunity to use this method occurred when Saddam Hussein's military command and control system was destroyed. The Iraqi troops were then forced to use commercial FM radio stations to the 100 megahertz frequency. The U.S. PSYOPs team set up its own portable FM transmitter utilizing the same frequency in the deserted city of Al-Qashi. The U.S. transmitter overpowered the local Iraqi station, so along with patriotic and religious music for the Iraqis to listen to, the PSYOPs transmitted, quote, vague, confusing, and contradictory military orders and information to the Iraqi troops. The press release goes on, quote, subliminally much more powerful technology was at work. A sophisticated electronic system to speak directly to the mind of the listener, to alter and entrain his brain waves, to manipulate his brain's electroencephalographic EEG patterns, and artificially implant negative emotional states, feelings of fear, anxiety, despair, and hopelessness, all energy waves, all frequencies of sound. This subliminal system doesn't just tell a person to feel an emotion, it makes them feel it. It implants that emotion in their mind. Has anybody here wondered how complete that victory was? I mean, really seriously, was it just because of Schwarzkopf and superior fighting force? I submit that the reason why it was so massive and why so many Iraqi soldiers surrendered and the mother of all battles didn't happen is because of this little secret right here. Now, I'm here to tell you that it's probably a good thing that we didn't lose 50 or 60,000 troops in that battle. So that there's some good things that come out of this, but the problem is we're not being told about what went on. Maybe for military reasons, but as Eisenhower said, in the hands of unscrupulous power brokers, of high-powered businessmen, this can be very, very, very dangerous to the public's well-being. And I'm here to tell you that's what's happening. We don't even know about it. It's the reason why we weren't told this weaponry was going on is because it's already been in use. And likely a reason why so many of our elected officials in Washington don't know why they do what they do. They don't even need to read the bills they've signed and passed because they know how to vote already. Silent sound technology is indeed patented. Write this down. U.S. patent number 5,159-703 issued to Dr. Oliver M. Lowry. The abstract on the patent reads, quote, a silent communication system in which non-oral carriers in the very low or very high audio frequency range or the adjacent ultrasonic frequency spectrum are amplitude or frequency modulated with the desired intelligence and propagated acoustically or vibrationally for inducement into the brain. Well, Lowry's patent has been picked up commercially. Okay, it's in use constantly. Now, Lowry's patent was quite a few years ago. What about now? How advanced is it now with the digital signals, the digital encoding? Well, Boston Logan Airport, TSA, now is actually reading people's minds. And not only is the ability to implant thoughts and feelings, but now the technology is they can actually know what you're thinking and do it that quick. So this is not something that the media is ever going to talk about, but you walk through Boston Logan, TSA, you'll as you're going through the line to get your baggage checked, there's a monitor. It's actually reading what your thoughts are and your emotions are. And if you have a thought process, oh, I hope, or I'm going to do this, or I have some hostility in that, you will be brought out of line and you will be questioned. Now, the thing is, nobody is really questioned because the terrorism is not a problem with us. It's a CIA operation in its entirety. So, this is a scientific rendition of exactly how this works. The brainwave detector. Again, this is old technology, ladies and gentlemen, just now being put into the TSA's arsenal. The antenna, the transmitter, will send an undetermined beam right through the frontal lobes. It will record the wave to an antenna, pick it up in capacitor into an actual computer monitor. They'll know your thoughts. Well, I'm going to go through this. These are actual part of the CIA MK Ultra experiment. One of the scientists was a man named Joseph Delgado. Here's actual pictures of his monkeys. They were just hit with these different frequencies of energy. Look at the difference in the monkey. Here he's passive, not normal, and here is after his waves. These waves of anger and hostility are just given to the monkey's implant. Look at this guy.
Sure he's not smiling?
He's ready to jump out of the cage and get somebody. I call this the Blair Witch Project. Take a good look here at Thomas Monson and George Bush. Take a good hard look at his handshake right there.
Oh, Sonic.